What is up, everybody? Live on WZBC Newton. It is First Stop, whether you're tuning in live on TuneIn Radio at 11 a.m. or listening on iTunes or SoundCloud. We thank you for tuning in and listening to our great podcast. It's midterm season here at Boston College, but we always make the time for First Stop.
Right. In the studio today is the hottest, sexiest, most OG person, Minogia. How's it going, Mino?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Good. Today's highlights include us breaking down the latest in the Champions League, MLB arbitration cases, and of course, Jacob's nuclear hot takes on the NBA. Let's start with sports. Jacob, lead us off.
First, we're going to start with some NBA news. So one of the biggest things that's going on in the NBA right now, All-Star Weekend, so the players are taking a break, but that does not mean the drama takes the break. So recently, the Pelicans have just fired their GM for some trade miscommunication and missed opportunities. So what happened was the Pelicans, in the midst of trying to trade Anthony Davis as he wants out of New Orleans, they were talking to the Lakers. The Lakers offered them their young core, correct?
Right.
Young core and 2 first-round picks. But instead, so the GM basically said, no, we want more than that.
Right.
Okay, so the GM was asking for more. They want more first-round picks, and the Lakers are like, nope, the deal is off the table.
Right. Yeah, Pelicans wanted, not only that, they wanted 4 top-round picks. Now, for the people at home, do you think that Anthony Davis is worth basically the entire young core of the Lakers plus 4 round picks? I don't.
Nope.
No. I think it was a horrible idea for the Pelicans to get greedy. AD is old. He's older. He's okay. I mean, he's a solid player. That's why they want him. But I think that they should not be so concerned with like a whole team being the same worth as AD. And I think that was a misstep by the Pelicans, and they fired their GM because of that. The back office miscommunication was just so bad on that.
Yeah.
I just think they got too greedy. They should have taken the first deal from the Lakers. They would have been set for like a long time.
Right, and they're not going to get anything better.
No, they're not.
Right.
I mean, at this point, it's now they look like greedy, and so the next person that comes along to give them a deal is going to be like, well, we're not going to give you that big of a deal.
Right.
We don't want to trade with you, right? So it kind of corrupted their trading abilities going forward. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's right.
AD's dad was really pissed because he's like, now you're kind of stuck in New Orleans because no one's going to trade with them.
That's right. I think the difficult thing, too, with the situation is, one, the Lakers got extremely lucky, right? So, but I think we're also seeing the negatives to what Erik brings up a lot with LeBron, of how with LeBron, yes, he's a great player, and all he really needs to be great is one other star, and he'll do fine.
Right.
But what does that mean when LeBron leaves? Is that
Exactly.
organization is basically stuck, and they're going to fail?
Yep.
So why would you even consider in the first place trading away your entire core for one young star, an aging LeBron?
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
you're
I saw
asking for
this-
only 2-3 good years, and that's it.
Right. I saw this post, and it was like, when LeBron comes to your team, everyone else kind of becomes like a pawn.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's
So-
so true.
He's the king, right?
He is the king, and he will become the GM if he gets frustrated.
Yeah.
As what
We saw it happen in
as what
Cleveland.
Magic said. He said we don't want him to turn this into Cleveland, as we keep saying on the podcast.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is the first time I believe I saw a stat. This is the first time LeBron's been on a losing, not a losing streak, but on a losing record since like 2009 Cavs.
Right.
So it's been 10 years since he's been on a losing streak. Or not a losing streak, on a losing record, 28, 29 or something like that. Yeah, so I mean, like I don't see how he would be happy with kind of this. Now Magic said, give me 2 years to give us a winning team, and then I'll resign. So okay, we'll give him till next year to actually show something. But
That's right.
I don't know.
Yeah, right now Lakers are stuck in the 10th spot. Really can't try to. They're really struggling to move up to the 8th spot for the playoffs. Of course, we're around halfway through the season, so they got around 30 games left or so. But it's a difficult situation because I think when LeBron decided to move up to LA, it was much less of a basketball decision than it was a business decision.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's looking to win another championship. I think he's fine with how he's going to be.
Well, he said in the press conferences, or not press conference, on the court conference. I forget who interviewed him, but they said, "Oh, are you content with how you've done?" So we're saying, "Oh yeah, I'm content with what I've done in my career."
Yeah.
Right.
Now that could just be him saying that just to say, like, yeah, I'm
Just
not...
in case he doesn't get any more.
Yeah,
he has
exactly,
that,
right. And that's the thing. So he doesn't set too high of expectations for himself. But, you know, I don't know. I think
he's even declared himself. I think in an interview he even said that he was the GOAT and that he did
coming back 3-1 against
exactly.
the Warriors,
and when he made that block against
right.
Iguodala, that established him as the GOAT. So
yeah.
I think it's a tough with the Lakers because the Lakers obviously want to get back to the top. I mean, they're a top tier organization.
Yeah.
The Lakers, Celtics,
Right.
and the Knicks are really what I think of when I think of the NBA.
The New York Knicks?
Yeah. Like just like in history,
Oh, okay,
of like the big three organizations.
Okay. I was gonna say like.
So Celtics are up there, but the Lakers are trying to get back into their rightful spot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough for if I was in the Lakers position. It's horrible team dynamics too. The culture there is not ideal.
Yeah.
LeBron always said, "Oh yeah, you always got to help your player up." Someone chirped back at him with a video of like no one helping up. Who was it? That was on the ground. I think it was Lonzo. Lonzo fell on the ground. None of his teammates went to go help him up.
Yeah.
So like, it's not great culture-wise. I mean, there is no team dynamic, and I think they have to work on that. I don't know how you work on that with kind of halfway through the season. I mean,
right.
It's not looking good for them.
That's right.
But that being said, I think that the Lakers will have a very strong season next year once they kind of iron. This is really like they need to iron out all their problems in this season, right?
How do you think the young core feels like just getting offered on the table like that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Imagine
LeBron trades you. I mean, they chanted that. I really don't know the details, but someone was going up for a free throw, and the whole stadium erupted. LeBron is going to trade you. LeBron is going to trade you.
Oh my God!
Because
was that at home?
No, it was away.
Okay,
that
would have been bad.
No, if it was at home, that'd be
That
extremely bad.
Yeah.
No, this was away. Oh man, who was it? I'm trying. I'll think of the name. We'll come back with it after a break. But like, yeah, he was saying, yeah, LeBron's gonna trade you. LeBron's gonna trade you. So I think after the whole Pelicans deal, people were like, wow, this guy does not have our backs.
True.
I mean, and that's a very big trade. Think about this. You have 2 top round picks. You're gonna give plus your young core. Man, you're giving a lot for AD, and I don't think his worth is that high.
Yeah.
He's a very solid player. Obviously, if he went with LeBron, they'd be a very dominant pair duo. But like, I don't think he'd be worth that much. You still need a core. You still need a young core so you can develop later on.
That's right.
So.
And then swinging over to the weekend, All-Star weekend for the NBA. Last night was the All-Star Celebrity Game. I believe Famous lost, if I'm pronouncing that right. He won the MVP. But then also Ray Allen was in the game, which was awesome. Who's the only real celebrity, I think, in that game.
Yeah.
He had 24 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists, so that was awesome seeing him out there once again. We have the dunk contest tonight, which is going to be exciting.
Yeah.
I believe Miles Bridges is in it, John Collins, Hamidou Diallo, and Dennis Smith Jr. from the Knicks.
Yeah.
My pick is Dennis Smith Jr.
Really?
He's so athletic, yeah.
You think?
I think Dennis Smith Jr., yeah.
I agree.
And then we have the All-Star game tomorrow night. And
What team do you have? Giannis or LeBron?
Oh, LeBron, by far.
You think?
I was watching that. That's the one thing I love about this year is they made the draft public.
Yeah.
So when LeBron and
I
Giannis
saw
were
that.
picking there, it was like
Yeah.
on the TNT
That's
halftime
smart.
show, which is awesome.
Who do you have? Giannis or LeBron?
I think LeBron as well.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think LeBron got the first pick, and LeBron got Durant,
Yeah.
Kawhi,
Mm-hmm.
Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
He also got Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Irving.
Mm-hmm.
So he got like
That's
all
a
like.
fun team to watch.
Oh,
It
yeah.
really is.
But then Giannis has
Yeah,
like.
here's Team LeBron. It's Kevin Durant, Harden, Kyrie, obviously LeBron, Kawhi, and then the reserves are LaMarcus Aldridge, Bradley Beal, AD, Damian Lillard, Ben Simmons, Klay Thompson,
Yeah.
Kat, and Dwayne Wade. Then for the Team Giannis, we have Giannis, Curry, Joel Embiid, Paul George, Kemba, Blake Griffin, Nikola Jokic, Kyle Lowry, Chris Middleton, Dirk
Nowitzki.
Nowitzki.
Yeah.
A good Irish name right there. Victor Oladipo, D'Angelo Russell, Nikola Vucevic, and Russell Westbrook. So yeah, I mean, LeBron's team is pretty stacked.
Oh yeah. And the crazy thing about that draft was James Harden was one of the last starters to get picked,
Yeah.
which I think really tells about how people view him. And that's the nice thing about this is, yes, it's all fun and games, but where you get picked really gives
does
some
matter.
insight
Yeah,
of how other
exactly.
people view you
View
as a
on the
team
court.
player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and also, I mean, James Harden just broke, or is now tied with Wilt Chamberlain for the most
There you
30-point
go.
games.
I think you
Right.
predicted that in the last
I did,
podcast. Yeah.
Now, Wilt Chamberlain still holds the most in his, I think, 1962 season with 65 straight 30-point plus games. Harden tied his second record, which is now like the 31 or 32 record. So, I mean, he'll probably break that, I would say. 65 is untouchable. I mean, it'll happen someday, but I don't think it'll be this season or even next season.
That's a lot, yeah.
It's a lot of points. Harden also is, I think, now has a record for most 40 or even 50 plus point games consistency based on record. Cause he has obviously he hits 30 plus, but then some nights he hits 40 plus, and then I think there's he has a 50 plus streak of like 2 or 3, which is nutty. So yeah, he's hitting those points pretty well actually. He's averaging 36.5 points per game, as opposed to he's the highest on the starters of Team LeBron. I'm trying to think. No one's touching him on either starters teams.
No chance.
The only one close is Kevin Durant at 27.4. So 36 versus 27. It shows he's a offense focused player. So the beard is back at it.
Uh-oh.
I think he'll do well this year. I think he'll end up pretty solid.
Yeah.
MVP probably not. I liked what Sam said last time. I think Paul George has been consistently solid, very much kind of under the radar.
Okay.
Yeah.
28 points per game. I mean, yeah, that's pretty solid.
Both sides of the ball.
Both sides of the ball. Yeah, all around great player. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Let's talk about the NHL real quick before we take a break. So, NHL real quick. The Blues have won 8 games in a row. Calgary Flames are on a 4-game losing streak, but they are still on the top of the Pacific Division. Flames are pretty solid. We all know that. Blue Jackets, from Columbus, have fallen for the race of the wild card against the Bruins, sadly. Bruins are at 72 points. This was yesterday, and the Bruins just won last night 3-0 against, I think, the Islanders. And so I think the Bruins are at 75.
They played the Ducks yesterday.
Oh, they played the Ducks. All right, so they're at 75 probably right now. Blue Jackets are at 67. It's tough because, the Bruins and Blue Jackets went back and forth for that wild card spot. I think Bruins are at number 1 in the what division was it? They're not it was a weird division they broke it up into. It wasn't like the Metropolitan or the typical splits. But Bruins are looking pretty solid. We went to a game last week.
We did.
Against the LA Kings, who are just bad. It was a pretty solid game though. I mean, you would never think that the Kings were the bottom of the pack.
Yeah.
So it was the final score was at 5-4. Went to
overtime.
Third period went really, really well. It was Patrice Bergeron's 1,000th game, and he won the game-winning shot in OT.
Yeah.
So that stick that he threw out in the crowd is probably worth a lot of money.
Definitely, yeah.
A lot of money. They did pretty well. I thought the second periods were pretty slow, as we saw. The Bruins brought it up, and then the Kings responded pretty well. Once the third period hit, it got far more aggressive. The transitions were far more solid. The Bruins capitalized more on power plays than the Kings did in the end. Their shots were virtually, they were equal. 28-28 going into OT, 4-4 going into OT. It was truly a tied match at that point.
Yeah.
No one was favored. And go to OT, and
we got the power play.
Bergeron hits a top right sealer, and they won. So
That's right.
it's pretty solid, pretty fun to watch. Pretty cool. TD Garden's obviously awesome.
Yeah.
They're renovating it.
I didn't even know
again. That. Yeah, they're doing. They showed that on the screen. They're doing like a players club. So basically, it's like this Millionaires Row players club thing. It's really sweet looking. But it's like the third, fourth time they've renovated it. And yeah, they renovated in 2011, and they're renovating it again. So it's a really sweet space. So yeah, and obviously we all know that the Tampa Bay is still just untouchable at this point. I mean, they're too good this year, so they're definitely they're still looking pretty solid. I think they lose. I think they may be on like a 1-game losing streak. Tampa Bay Lightning. Lightning is my computer is so slow. I need a new computer. I think I dropped it way too many times, and now it's like so slow that it's like not working. Tampa Bay that is not the right thing. Standings. Tampa Bay, they're on a win streak of 4. All right, so I was looking at the wrong team. So yeah, Tampa Bay's at a win streak of 4. They're at 90 points. The only close one to them is 75, which is like the Flames, the Jets, the Islanders. So that's kind of messed up.
Yeah, they're sitting at the top right now.
They're sitting at the top, yeah. Bruins are at 74 points. I said 75. It's 74 points. And they're third in the Atlantic.
In another division, that would be either first or second.
Yeah.
This Atlantic division is...
I mean, yeah, look at you have the
no
Lightning,
joke.
you have the Leafs, you have the Bruins, the Canadians. I mean, and the Sabres kind of came out of, like, last year. They were not that great. They did well in the postseason with the draft. They did really, really well with a few of their picks. And so they're now mid-pack in the Atlantic Division. Obviously, the Senators, man, that's tough to see. They were okay last year, and it kind of fell from grace. And then Chicago at the bottom.
Oh, but Patrick Kane as well.
Yeah. Central Division Blackhawks are at 57 points. Skay. They're on a win streak of 1. Congratulations.
Yeah. We had our magic back in 2011 when we won like 3 in like 6 years. So
you guys are on fire.
I'm fine.
Yeah. All right, after this quick music break, we will be back talking about MLB arbitration cases, and Manu will give us the breakdown on soccer highlights, hot takes, and I need something else that has an H in it, and heresies. Stay tuned.
Now we're going to dive into some MLB news. One of the biggest things in the headline right now, regardless if it's the offseason, is some arbitration cases with the Indians. Eric, want to break that down?
Yeah, so Trevor Bauer is a free agent this year. Very solid pitcher. Pitched better than Kluber, our ace.
Okay.
Based on stats. Now the problem is he wanted a $6.5 million contract with the Indians. Went to arbitration because they couldn't strike a deal in time. So the players' union and obviously the management had to figure it out, lawyer it out.
Yeah.
Problem was, Bauer said after the meeting, he said they went through a massive character assassination of me. And this raised a lot of eyebrows across the nation because you're never really supposed to talk about cases like that. It's under oath. But you can talk about, you can talk more of kind of like vague themes of the case. And he said character assassination. So a lot of people are speculating, what does that mean? So he won the arbitration case based on this. He kind of put the Indians on watch when he said that.
Okay.
And he said basically they put me on a character assassination. He wanted 6.5. He ended up getting 13 million.
Wow.
So he doubled his ask, and that's not good for the Indians because the Indians are going through a revenue crisis, and they will in the next few years because our attendance at Progressive Field has gone down, and they have not been able to keep with the core pay raises. And so our core, Ramirez, Lindor, Kluber, you could even argue Bauer, wants to stay in Cleveland. We can't afford their contracts in 5 years, and we have no revenue. So that's a problem for us. So we'll probably end up our strategy will be keeping the core and then keep getting one-hit wonders off in the off season, 1 year free agents like we did with Brantley in 2016 to get to the World Series, because we can't have these large contracts for we're just not a rich organization anymore, at least, which is not great for any Indians fans. So he is a 28-year-old. He went 12-6 over 28 appearances, 27 starts. He had a 2.21 ERA. I think Kluber had a 2.5. So, I mean, he had a better ERA, 1.09 whip. I think Kluber was he was 1.04 or something like that. So, I mean, stronger whip. 221 strikeouts in 175.1 innings. He was named All-Star and finished 6th in the Cy Young voting. So, I mean, he's definitely he's younger than Kluber. Yeah. So a lot of people would say keep Bauer, not Kluber. Kluber's a little bit older. He has the Cy Youngs behind him, so that's nice. But he kind of had I wouldn't say an off year for him.
Yeah.
It wasn't strong. So yeah, Bauer won $6.5 million on top of the $6.5 he was asking. So he literally doubled his contract because of the Indians screwing up. And like I said, it pinches them financially because how are you going to afford all these other cases? Lindor is out now for I think 7 to 9 weeks with a calf strain. Mm-hmm. That's not good. We need Lindor. Healthy right off the bat. We need that placement strong. Trying to think who else. Oh yeah, Miller went. He's gone. He always gets injured though, but he was a really solid closer. So we need someone who's a closer.
Okay.
Our pitching is okay. We focused on. I was talking to Sam about this. Boston, who won the World Series, focuses on speed and getting on bases. The Indians focus on hitting ability and pitchers. Well, the problem is those are expensive. Right. That strategy is very, very expensive, and our pitching core is solid around Kluber, but once he's gone, I mean, who do we have? We don't have closers now. We don't have a very solid closer. We pulled up Bowers from not Bauer, but Bowers from the it's the Columbus AAA team. So he's looking promising, but certainly nowhere near where Miller was when Miller was healthy. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Indians. I think Houston was having a similar problem with Cole, their pitcher, their chief pitcher. I think there was some contract problems. I think he went to arbitration. I don't really know what happened after that, but so it's not just the Indians. It's happening all over, and not ideal. Players' unions are kind of pissed at what happened with Bauer, if it's true that they character assassinated him. So, yeah. But all right, let's talk about soccer because I know Minnow is a huge soccer person. Talk to us about Bayern Munich versus Liverpool.
Yeah, so it's a big game coming up. It's on Tuesday, and it's anticipated to be one of the best games of the round of 16, which just started. Wow. So it's gonna be a very fun game. And I myself am a Liverpool fan, so
that's pretty big.
Right. So it's gonna be a fun game to watch. And so with and some of the other games that have already gone, Roma beat Porto, right? And Manchester United lost to PSG. And that was a really good game to watch because Manchester United, they haven't lost since they sacked their manager, Jose Mourinho. Jeez. So this was their first loss in any tournament in like a month or maybe even longer.
That's crazy.
So they hadn't lost. And PSG was expected and probably is expected to go through. But the game really showed the first half, Manchester United came in with that momentum that they've been building up for so long.
Yeah.
And they looked really good. And then in the second half, once PSG got their first goal, it was just... You knew the game was over.
Yeah.
And then what sucks for Manchester United is that one of their best players, Paul Pogba, he got a red card in the 88th minute.
Oof.
And so that means...
the next game.
Right.
Yeah.
And I heard Rashford and Lingard, they got injured as well. Yeah. So Manchester United, it's looking tough again for them.
Yeah. Damn.
We'll see how they bounce back from
Lingard's out for a month, you said, right?
Yeah, I think that's what they said in the report.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's tough for them. It really is.
It's
not
bad,
looking solid. And weren't they favorites going into this?
I
thought they were top
maybe,
pack.
Maybe PSG was favored. Yeah, but they were the momentum that they had. It made it promising that they might put up a fight. Yeah. And we'll see what happens.
Who do you think will win the whole thing? Obviously, you're a Liverpool fan, so you're slightly biased, but
it's too early to tell. I think.
Early?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who? Mbappe was looking pretty solid, right? Didn't he?
He was, yeah. And PSG won without Neymar, arguably their best player.
Right.
Right.
Currently,
so.
yeah. Damn. Yeah, Mbappe's he was awesome to watch during FIFA.
The World Cup was amazing.
It was nuts. Yeah,
he was just running down the wing,
he was a fast person.
Booking it.
He was a fast person. It's almost like watching like Jacob run. He's just like incredibly fast. Mbappe is definitely like, I forget they said his like 40 time. It was like nutty.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, it was like 4.8 or something. It was something like Usain Bolt level.
Right.
Yeah, he was crazy. He was fun to watch during the FIFA. France obviously looked really solid and they won, but
right. That was a fun World Cup. Yeah.
It was a fun World Cup. A lot of upsets.
Yeah.
Crazy
Croatia making it to the final.
Making it to the finals.
Luka
Germany
Modric.
out. Yeah.
He won the
Ballon.
You're right. The Golden Ball.
Yep.
The Ballon d'Or. This year. Right.
Yep. Trying to think. Yeah, Germany was out early. I'm a Germany fan when it comes to the World Cup. I always
Yeah, they didn't do too well.
No, they did not.
Right.
The points. I remember I was sitting at lunch and some kid came up to me and he was like, "Hey, Germany just got out." I was like, "Oh, no, you're messing with me." He's like, "No, they did."
Yeah.
Because the other team scored higher goals but then beat them. Right. It was just like, "Oh no."
Like the game before where they were about to get eliminated. Yeah. Toni Kroos hit that hurling shot.
That was sick.
Right, that was an amazing goal.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, maybe Germany will get out of this, but no.
Yeah, that last 5 minutes with Kroos was nutty. I've never seen such a comeback in my life insane. Besides that. Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
They wanted that.
Yeah, no, they needed that too.
They needed it, yeah.
All right. After another quick music break, do you have anything to add, Jacob?
No, I'm afraid
I know you're not
don't
really
know
a
much
big
about
MLB soccer. But...
Yeah, I gotta do my research though.
Yeah.
So is this championship, right? Is this playoffs, basically? Is this
Champions League, yeah, round of 16.
Okay.
So there's two. So they play 2 legs.
Okay.
And then so what happens is they add up the total points of, they add up the total goals. So you're pretty much playing 2 separate games against the same team. And then whoever scores the most goals. So you could win 2-0 the first game and then lose 3-0 the second game and then you would lose.
Oh, wow.
And then if it's tied, if it's an away goal counts as more than a home goal.
Right.
So it could be decided that way as well.
Oh, wow.
So it's interesting.
Sweet. Yeah, it's really fun to watch. I love their scoring system. I think their scoring system is one of the most fair. To be honest, really, it's pretty fair. So after this quick music break, we will come back with some headlines, some political breakdowns, and of course, Minnow may be, I hear, freestyling,
Uh-oh.
and Jacob may be freestyling as well.
Uh-oh.
I don't know about that one.
Maybe.
But
We'll see.
that'll be interesting. Keep it locked and rocking here at WZBC. The following does not suggest a bias on behalf of WZBC or WVBC under any circumstances. The following is for educational purposes only. If an opinion is expressed in the following, they are not respective of WZBC or WVBC respectively. Now for this week's headlines. President Trump has issued a national emergency to get funding for the border wall. $8 billion will be allocated for the border structure and border control funding. This comes after a heated Republican and Democratic fight that left no results on border security to avoid the potential government shutdown. President Trump always said that he has all the cards in his hand with the national emergency button, with many Democrats saying that he was pulling bluff. Joaquin Guzman, or El Chapo, was found guilty in a U.S. drug trafficking case. It has been many years for the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency to finally apprehend El Chapo. He has not been sentenced yet, but would probably result in life in prison. He had numerous charges of cocaine and heroin distribution, illegal firearms possession, and money laundering. This man was bad.
Yeah.
He ran the Sinaloa cartel in northern Mexico. It became one of the biggest drug trafficking operations in the U.S. He entered the Forbes list of wealthiest individuals at a liquid net worth of $1 billion, with I think they believe an estimated $4 billion of other assets. Colin Kaepernick's grievance with the NFL has been resolved, lawyers reported, with Kaepernick dropping the case against the NFL for discrimination and First Amendment violations. This comes after the AFL, American Football League, approached Kaepernick to see if he'd like to play for them. This would be huge for Kaepernick because he can actually get back on the field and play instead of just being an activist, and he can work his way up through the AFL. A lot of people wondered if he would go to CFL, the Canadian Football League, like Manziel did, and kind of get his name up there again. We'll see what happens, but apparently it's been resolved. He accused the NFL of collusion. Basically, like after what he did, no one wanted to take him on. He believed it was collusion. Lawyers said, no, that wasn't true. They found him, it wasn't what it was. Senate confirmed William Barr as the Attorney General yesterday, 54-45, and will take his place as the highest cop in the land officially next week. Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax was accused of 2 sexual assaults. This comes after both Governor of Virginia and Lieutenant Governor of Virginia were both embroiled in a scandal revolving racial and sexual issues from their past. I believe the Gov. Virginia was accused of having a picture of him in blackface in the 80s in a high school yearbook. And the lieutenant governor was accused of 2 sexual assaults. One was announced right after the blackface scandal for the governor, and the second one was just announced this week. Politically, this sets up the GOP well for the 2020 bid and the turning blue swing state of Virginia. This could also demotivate the predominantly black working-class voter base that Virginia Democratic Party needs. Having a Democrat, very racial past is not great, obviously, morally and politically, because it demotivates that black working class they need in Northern Virginia. And so they could actually be they'd be in a very tough spot in 2020. And it could also put up Trump really well in 2020 to take Virginia, because usually as go the state houses, so do the states in the Electoral College. Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts has announced her bid for the 2020 presidential race, along with Amy Klobuchar. This comes after the field of Democratic contenders grows larger with the hopes of defeating President Trump in 2020. One poll said that a majority of Americans think Democrats will beat Trump in 2020. Another poll says that individuals like Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, Sherrod Brown, who has not committed but possibly will, could not beat him. So on an individual scale, they believe they could not beat him. On a party scale, they believe they could beat him. So a little bit of, not many people sure about what they are feeling about the current Democratic floor. Going to the floor next week is the Green New Deal, touted by those on the environmental left as being the generational bill of the United States. It seeks to drastically change the American economy with sweeping regulation and sweeping change that parallels itself with the Paris Climate Change Accords. They seek, among other things, to end air travel in the U.S., a thing that releases much CO2 in the atmosphere each day. The Green New Deal has revealed a massive schism in the Democratic Party, with the Hawaii Democrats protesting the bill, saying, how are we going to get home? Sherrod Brown from Ohio, Kamala Harris, and Elizabeth Warren all have supported the bill, saying this is what we need to combat climate change. We need to take a firm stand against it, and we need to have a massive overhaul, truly a radical change of the economy. in this thing called the Green New Deal. I always thought it was a hypothetical that the Democrats would always put up. And in fact, it's actually going to go to the floor next week. So that hypothetical is now coming to a reality. So we'll see how this goes. I think Democrats are in a tough position. Republicans wholeheartedly stand against it. Democrats are in a tough position because they need the far left environmentalists to come out in 2020. But the problem is, how do you get them without having the Green New Deal? Green New Deal is actually very unpopular among moderates as well, because people hear ban air travel, ban coal. Anytime you say stuff in a negative, people get like, oh, well, that's kind of government overstepping, stuff like that. Investment, people are in favor of, not banning. So investment into, like, say, education, or instead of banning private schools, right? Investing in public education, not banning private schools. Right. It's how you frame it, and so they framed it pretty poorly. It will probably fail. I think they don't have enough clout around it. The Democrats don't, so they don't have enough support. Like I said, it reveals a massive schism, and that schism is what led Hillary to lose, because they protest voted, went right to either Gary Johnson didn't vote, or Jill Stein. Trump got the election because of the far left. It did not come out for Hillary because she was too moderate for them. And this Green New Deal would only enrage them even more. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens. I predict it's going to fail in the House, but it'll be interesting to see what politically that does for the Democrats, especially going up to 2020.
Okay, cool. I have a quick question with the wall. So how is he going to make the funds to build that? Is he cutting other programs to generate that? Or
so when you declare a national emergency, it sets aside allocated amount of money.
So it's already saved in case of a national emergency.
Right. So it's basically the House proposes a national emergency bill at the direction of the president. It goes to the floor of the House. If they get, I believe, 60 votes, it's not many, 60 votes, then it passes. Because say we had a horrible hurricane like Harvey, we always allocate national funding. So you need only 60 votes in the House. Well, we have 60 Republicans that would do that.
Okay.
Goes to President Trump. Trump signs it, and now you have $8 billion allocated to the Department of Homeland Security, Department of Immigration Controls, ICE, stuff like that. They get the $8 billion, and then they work together to build it. The wall itself is it is a collection of steel rods about, I think, 20 feet high, driven down to the ground by 15 feet, and all sealed in. Because the problem is in fences and walls, especially around like California, Southern California, by Baja California, they have like a little bit of a wall. Problem is people dig under it. So you have to have something that goes down far enough so that these mules won't dig under it. Mules is like the people who bring immigrants over. So they need to have that deep enough. And also they need to have it high enough so no one can rappel.
Right.
And so they've had, in the preliminary testing of wall designs, they had special forces try to rappel over the wall. And without helicopters, they couldn't do it. So this is the wall they're going for. Okay. Because all you have to do is you take a rappel, you throw it over, and if it lashes onto something, then you can get up. It won't do that, because
so
it's perfectly rounded at the top, no edges or anything like that. So $8 billion. We need $5 billion for the wall is how much it would cost. The stats when Trump gave his speech over our winter break, basically saying, this is a national emergency. The stats he laid out, BBC double-checked those, and they were sound. Since he took office, illegal immigration has dropped, but it's still higher than any other country. Sure. So drugs have gone up, and so he is saying it is an epidemic. BBC has clarified that and says, yes, it is an epidemic. They obviously don't like the wall. BBC doesn't, so they're taking a very anti-wall stance, but they did fact-check that, and the facts did play out.
Was this the first step to building it, or is this is it now being in the mix of being built?
Yeah, no.
Like it will be built by the time of his end of his term.
It will happen.
Okay,
yeah, no, that's the thing. So when I said earlier that the Republican and Democratic fight for border funding, basically for the wall, he always said, I have all the cards. He said all we have to do is declare a national emergency and we'll be built.
So now it just has to go through the House.
Well, it already went through the House. The national emergency went through the House. He's going to sign, I believe, next week, or maybe he already did.
Sure.
I haven't checked the news since. And they already have the $8 billion. And they start construction next week.
Oh, wow.
But he always told them, he said, I have all the cards. I want to take the proper political channels so you don't feel screwed. And so they had heated debates, obviously. The Democrats said, no, we're not going to fund this, blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of just rhetoric. He said, well, screw it. I'm going to take the executive action, constitutional authority, executive action to do this. He wanted to just go through the proper political channels. because many are saying, oh, this is illegal for him to do it. There's already a non-profit going to fight him in the courts. A lot of legal experts say you can't really fight him on this. Very constitutionally sound. You should fight him at the polls in 2016. That's what that's what legal attorneys said. If you do stand against it, you should have fought him more in the polls in 2016. So, but legally, he can do this. I mean, it is completely legal. Presidents can always issue national emergencies and do with those funds. Like Harvey. When Hurricane Harvey came along, we allocated, I believe, $3 billion or $4 billion for economic, allocation and stuff like that. So we had $3 billion to help infrastructure, get people through, etc. So I mean, it is constitutional.
Awesome.
After this quick music break, we will come back and we will interview the sexiest man alive, Minogia Acharya. Stay tuned, keep it locked and rocking.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that music break. Maybe it was the wrong choice of music after talking about it, because Minnow is an OG man in the rap game.
Yeah.
He's into that old stuff.
Game.
That's right. One beat at a time. So, Minnow, what are you studying?
I'm studying computer science.
That's
right
awesome.
now.
Yeah.
What got you into computer science?
I've been into computers since I was like 2, apparently.
Wow.
So this is my parents'
Prodigy?
story. No, I wouldn't say that. But so my parents got a computer when I was like 2 years old, and apparently I would sit like on the keyboard and just like I didn't know what I was doing, obviously, but I would just be like clicking randomly, and like eventually I started like learning what it actually does. And,
that's cool.
Yeah,
so I've always learned CSS. You learned C++ in like 2 years old.
No. I learned what a mouse was.
Okay, there you go.
That's as far as I went.
And where are you from?
I'm from Nepal.
Oh
so,
wow, okay.
Yeah.
It's exotic.
Right.
That's fun. What part of Nepal? Like
Kathmandu.
Oh, okay.
The main city. Right.
Okay, that's cool. That's sweet. Do you go back there often?
I went back last summer, actually.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I hadn't gone back in like 4 years. Wow. It's something about the World Cup. Every time the World Cup comes around, we go back.
Okay, that's cool. Is it hot there like India, or is it like colder because it's more mountainous?
It is right in the middle. So
Okay.
it's like moderate. In the
Okay.
city, at least, it doesn't snow.
Okay.
Like I mean, the monsoon rains, of course.
Yeah,
but
right.
like
Besides this.
the temperature itself is very moderate.
Okay, cool. So I hear you like to rap music.
Yeah.
What got you into rap and hip hop? And yeah, tell us about your story.
Yeah, so I came to this country in 2009, right? I was 9 years old, didn't really know English very well, and some kid in school, I heard him talking about rap music, and I'm like, what is that? And so I looked it up, and I downloaded or I streamed Nas's Illmatic and Rakim's album The 18th Letter.
Okay.
And then so I got addicted right from the beginning.
That's awesome.
And so like it helped me with my progression in like learning the English language and like in high school I took AP Lit and the essay about poetry. Yeah. It's like out of 9 I would always get a 9 in that. Wow. And then I like in the other ones it would be like 5 or like it wasn't good. The other essays weren't good, but poetry, yeah.
So poetry is your thing, okay?
Yeah, it became my thing.
That's awesome. What do you usually rap about or write about?
I would say thought provocative stuff. Okay. So, like something hits me and I'm like, I gotta put that down. Yeah. Yeah, I carry a journal with me at all times, and I also have my phone. I've written through like 4 notebooks from the beginning to the end up to this point, and it just I've thrown like 3 of them away because it was just garbage. But like that's what got me to the point where I am now. Yeah. So like it wasn't for waste or anything.
That's
so do you write down the lyrics and then you do voice recordings of kind of ideas you have, or
yeah, I do that sometimes. So like when I first started I used to just write, like I was not even rhyming, it was just write down the thoughts, right? And then now I usually write with a beat, unless I'm just writing to clear my thought, which I do sometimes.
Okay, that's sweet. Now since you're into rap and hip-hop, what are your thoughts on the current rap game? There's a lot of heated arguments about like, okay, is J. Cole better than Tupac? Is the better than Tupac? Is X better than Tupac? Is a very questionable, heated thing. What are your thoughts on like J. Cole, Drake, Cardi B?
Honestly, I don't mind them. And that might come as a surprise because people do see me as like an old head. Like, I obviously listen to a lot of the older stuff, but I have nothing against the music now because it's serving a purpose, right? Mm-hmm. People listen to it, people like it, and they're making their money, and I can't complain about that. Yeah,
that's true. Do you think that people like Cardi B and or, I don't know, think of another degenerate rapper, are they good or are they pop trash?
Like Ray Shmurda?
Ray Shmurda, yeah.
I think they're smart.
Okay.
I think they know their audience, and they know what their audience likes, and obviously some people don't like it and some people think it's trash, but they know their audience and they're just gonna target that and then just milk it as much as they can, right?
Certainly.
So
Yeah,
it's like a business strategy wise, it's very good.
Right.
And
It makes money.
and actually I have one of my like good friends, and he's a rapper as well from Texas. He tweeted out like the state of current hip hop, and I really thought it was good because I read this yesterday when we were planning this, and I'm like, oh, this is something to bring up. So he said, this generation has some of the greatest innovators in music, and a lot of them we don't even know or we take for granted because we've been truly spoiled with the oversaturation of consuming too much music.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of stuff happening underground, and he says, I'm not complaining, but I just wanted to show love to the real.
Right.
And he means like people that do it for the craft.
Mm-hmm.
I think this awesome thing with time now is, we talked about this in my editing class for film, is that now that you have the power to make like a song and share it with the entire world, like in your pocket.
Right.
So with that, you get an influx of really awesome creators that arise, but then you'll get some trash too. But like,
it's the oversaturation thing that like Jay Hurd was talking about. I truly agree with that.
Yeah.
Because it's just, there's a lot out there. Like like for me, like I love lyricism and all that, and like it's hard to find. Right. It's because you don't hear it like this other stuff that you're talking about. You hear this walking down the street, like bumping out of a car or something, and like this more, I guess, like lyric heavy type of music just isn't heard as much.
Right, that's true. I was thinking about that. Yeah, we kind of democratized how people like.
It's not like it doesn't exist.
Right.
It's just not in the mainstream.
Well, look at us. We have a podcast. But many years ago we probably couldn't do this. We can run a soundboard. We can record stuff. We can have guests on. Yeah. That never would have happened years ago. And so that's the thing. So now we have technology's democratized like how people produce music. Right.
Definitely. Yeah.
So
also, I'm curious as to your thoughts. So, as Bo Burnham said, one of my really favorite comedians, he said, to be like famous in rap now, all you need is like a sick beat over like anything. Yeah. So like I think back then, like in the 90s and stuff with like NWA, and they were talking about real problems like Compton and growing up.
Exactly.
And now, do you feel like now the beat is more important or the lyrics are more important? Like, to make a popular rap song that blows up.
It's definitely the beat.
The beat?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
I would say that too,
If the beat is hot, people will listen, and that's just what it is.
Like Mo Bamba.
Yeah.
It's literally ba da 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 da. That's literally it. It's one
it's a sick
note.
beat. It's a sick beat.
Yeah, because it gets you going.
Right.
But that's the thing is like they were rapping about crime and stuff. Now it's rapping about opulent wealth. And coming from nothing, and back then it was coming from an impoverished standpoint. Today, rappers get their names by basically telling others off, getting into beefs, and
that's very smart.
Flashing their wealth.
Yeah.
Look at Migos. All Migos does is they just like crap on everyone else and then show off their wealth. They're not rapping about like deep systemic poverty in Detroit. Well, obviously not.
Right.
Talking about
they popularized the triplets. It's called the triplets flow, where they go da 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 da. Right. They popularized that, and it's
oh my god, that's so
taken
true.
over.
Yeah. Well, and they hype up every. I always love like they always
echo.
Oh my god, they always echo. Like I just walked down the street. I saw a nice fleet. Like it's like they always say the same shit. It's horrible. Right. Yeah. So you freestyle, right?
Yeah, I do.
Wow. How hard is? Because I've watched. Like, I think we were talking before the podcast that Westwood, not Westworld. I feel like it's Westworld. Like 20 or like Travis Scott. No, Westwood. He brings on rappers and stuff, and I think BBC Radio probably does that too, where they just bring on rappers and they freestyle. I mean,
BBC One,
Funk Flex.
It's so hard.
Yeah,
I can't. It's so much respect.
Hot 97. Yeah.
Could you freestyle for us?
Yeah, I could.
All right, let's do it. I don't know how.
Do you need a beat?
Do you need a beat? Do you want Jacob to sing? Because I'd love to see Jacob sing.
I can do whatever you guys want.
All right.
Whatever's easy.
How about acapella?
Acapella, then a beat, maybe.
Yeah.
Try both.
Yeah, we could try that.
Sure.
Let's try it.
Can we give you like a topic, or can you just go off of anything?
Like pineapples? No, I'm just kidding.
That's
Oranges?
I think I'm just gonna
go from the heart.
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna start with like what I have pre-written, and then I'm just gonna try.
I like
to
that. I like that.
All right, the stage is yours, my friend.
All right.
Mike's good. We'll lift the mic up a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, hold the mic. Don't be afraid. Yeah.
Is it gonna stay up here? All right.
You can actually take it off.
Yeah, take it off. Yeah, hold it.
Oh yeah, sure.
There we go. First stop
is we're a bunch of engineers.
There you go.
There we go.
And then pull this down maybe. so then it doesn't crack.
Right.
Yeah, there we
Yeah.
go. Oh.
Sure, I can just hold on. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for waiting. All right, so you guys ready?
All right, let's go.
All right. What is an antonym? I write whatever's left. What is happiness while the rest depressed? The press don't rest until there is nothing left. Started underground, but I ain't need no steps. What comes next are the latter halves. I went past your tests. Come and check my flask. Took control of all the program's tasks. You're still just an object, not in my class. The grass grows in spots where light barely touches. I grew up in parks and always knew my budget. I could see the dandelions, but I had to budge yet. No sipping on buds, but the light would flood yet. Sometimes I overthink, but now that I think it over, I think that I know Mother Nature and karma make things float up, but let them sink, depending on their motives. If the end is near, don't put me in the ark. Don't box me in and trap my inner thoughts. Rather die free than live than falter. And if I perish, don't tell my father I was killed by the martyr or the water pushing farther like the tides in Island Niger. Tell my mother to be stronger, and my brother, you are part of me. So pardon me, but I've got to be who I got to be.
Woo!
That was good, man.
That was good. I like that.
Thank you.
So when you freestyle or when you write,
Right.
I mean, I'm not familiar with it, but when you write, is it the last word rhymes with the last word of the next line, or is it more of you're following like you're saying with Migos, Eric, like
Right.
da da da, or no, you were saying da 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 da,
triplets.
like you're
Right.
following like
yeah, no. So what I try
the
to
syllables.
do. No, I definitely I try internal rhymes are very important to me.
Okay.
So like more than just rhyming the end words and creating like a complex scheme or you know what I mean, something like a little different.
Yeah.
And like so with like what I just said, like I like doing so like it was what is happiness while the rest depressed, the press don't rest until there was nothing left,
So it
right?
switches, okay.
Yeah, and then like or like the last few lines it was like or the water pushing farther like the tides in Island Niger. Tell my mother to be strong, you know, like just
That internal
see if I can
line,
pick
yeah,
it right.
right.
See if I can like dissect the beat as much as possible, or
Yeah.
if I'm doing without a beat, just go with just make the rhythm out of just the words themselves.
Right. Yeah, I like also how you incorporate the beat, like the consonant beat, like dun 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 dun
that's
dun
cool.
dun dun, and it also rhymes to that. That was sick.
Thank you.
I like that middle kind of. If you had a metronome, it's like that middle part of the
Exactly.
word. Yeah.
So so that's a writing strategy actually. And there are some people who can do it like without hitting the second and the fourth beat, like MF Doom or like A$AP Rock, not A$AP Rocky. It's a different guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's known. A$AP Rock is actually known as like the Shakespeare of hip hop.
Oh wow.
He's used like if you look up like his vocabulary range, like in the first 3,500 like words he's written, and then you look at like Shakespeare's like, and then like all the other rappers, he's like here.
Oh wow.
And then like everyone else is here.
Jeez.
Eminem's sitting like around the Shakespeare like range. So
Yeah.
like it's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Right. And MF Doom, he's known for like not flowing off beat. Sometimes he'll hit the third beat. You know how there's 4 beats in a bar?
Yeah.
So sometimes he'll, instead of hitting the second and then the fourth, he'll hit the third and then overlap into the second beat of the next bar.
That's smart. Yeah.
And it's just,
Right. That's
it's
crazy. That's nuts.
Right. So I try to, for the most part, I try to hit the second beat and the fourth beat of the bar. Or if I'm like trying to do a more complex scheme, like, so that's like going double time almost.
Yeah.
Where you hit the second beat. So like, it's pretty much in one bar, you are writing 2 bars.
Okay.
So like that's where you get that like complex scheme of like, or the water pushing farther, like the tides in Island Niger. So you're hitting every second beat.
Right.
Or you like if it's like longer, if it's like slower paced, like more like heartfelt, I guess. You would have the internals still, but they would be scattered, and then you would hit the punchline on the fourth.
Okay. Interesting.
So
Wow.
yeah.
That's pretty sweet. Now I've always heard some like underground rappers always like flow off beat, like you mentioned.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on that? Like not flow. You know, they're the beat is like dun dun, and they're just not following it precisely, and then they'll lock back into it.
Right. So like yeah, what I was saying, some people can do it, like MF Doom, he can float off and then just come back on right in time.
Lock back in, yeah.
And what he does, something like one of the strategies that I would say he's one of the first people to do it. I don't know if he is, but so what he'll do is like he'll say I don't know, something like take a hit, and then he'll be like I got the drink, but I won't take a. And then he'll just pause,
Okay.
let you fill in the word. Like, you know the word is
your
sip.
mind fills it in, yeah.
Right, and then he'll just stop, and you're like, what the hell did you just do? And
Yeah,
it's just,
right.
and it works.
Yeah.
And then there's people like Andre 3000, who's like a pioneer of hip hop and just music in general, because he can flow on any beat, in any way.
Yeah.
It's just
Right.
so if you're flowing off and on, I think it works. Staying off beat the entire time and making it sound good, that is very difficult.
Yeah, no, you have
Very,
to, you
very
have to follow the
difficult.
beat at least some points,
Yeah,
right? It has to be
right.
like your compass, right?
I've seen these videos in my on YouTube that are recommended to me. for not rappers, but like Love and Calvin Harris.
Right.
And they're like, this is how I made my song. It's like a short, like 2-minute cool clip.
Yep.
And they usually start with the beat, or they're like, oh, I thought of this beat, and then they fill in the lyrics.
Right.
So when rappers write or when you write, is it you have a beat and you work to fill in the beat with lyrics, or do you have lyrics and you fill in the beat?
I've done both.
Okay.
And I've realized, at least for me, it works better if I write to the beat.
Right,
because it's more personal. Like so like the pauses, like the beats are always different. They all follow a very similar structure.
Yeah.
So you have like 8 bars of like the intro, you have 16 bars, and then like a 8-bar chorus or a hook, or if you just want to keep rapping, like sometimes I do, just keep rapping through it, and then it'll be another 16. That structure. So I could write like without listening to a beat, but sometimes like the flows you could like, because you don't want to just rhyme to the drum pattern. You want to like, sometimes you want to flow with the melody itself. And so if you want to do that, then writing to the beat is essential.
Okay. And if you want to create your own beat, can you do that on your laptop?
Yeah.
Like, is that GarageBand, or is that like a more advanced?
I've heard
like you need a soundboard.
Yeah,
and stuff?
there's
Okay.
I mean, it works better if you get like the MPC, I think is what it's called. Like this, like the like the pad thing.
Those are
cool.
Right. Yeah, I've seen those underground DJs.
So people do that.
Those are sweet.
Yeah, and I think you could do it with a keyboard, although like it wouldn't work as well. And then what people do is they have like a keyboard set, and then they have like the MPC, so then they can and the keyboard, it's like an electric keyboard, so you could like change the instruments, sounds, but you have like the notes. You can control the notes, right?
Interesting.
And then so with that, you control the notes, and then you can put it into the MPC, and then like the repeated patterns, and then you could just.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've seen people like go crazy fast with their hands. And
I've seen those people. Oh my god. I forget the name of them. But there's like this couple. It was like a girl and this other dude, and they had just like 5 of those pads, and they're just going off. It was the sickest song I've ever heard.
What's it? Rakim, he like nominated his DJ like the president, like Erik B for president, and like I feel that so much because producers are the reason we exist. Yeah. Like we can't exist without like people that can produce, and I really wish I could, but no, I can't.
Right? No, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. You have to have the supply before the band can follow.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, that's it. What's your favorite Nas song?
Oh, what's my favorite Nas song? New York State of Mind.
New York State of Mind.
Yeah.
After this quick break, featuring Nas, New York State of Mind, we're going to wrap things up for today. Keep it locked and rocking.
Alrighty, so that was an awesome show today. Thank you again for coming on, Minnow.
No problem.
There we go.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
So, if you want to follow Minnow, listen to his awesome rap songs, Minnow, what's your IG?
So it's at MC_MACHFLOW.
He has an OG IG, by far.
It's awesome.
That is pretty sweet. He also would love some fan mail, as would First Stop, about how he is changing the rap game. Yeah. So if you want to reach him, you got to email him at manogiacharya, and I'll spell that, at gmail.com. MANOGYAACHARYA at gmail.com. He loves some fan mail, and we love fan mail.
We do.
We've gotten no fan mail.
We'll check right now.
Actually, I checked last night. We had like something from Wix.
A lot of Wix stuff.
A lot of Wix. I think I think we have a mortgage due. I don't remember signing up for one. But please email us at firststopofficial@gmail.com. Tell us if you love us, if you hate us, which we can't do much about that. But like, please email us. Follow us on SoundCloud, First Stop WZBC.
That's right. Also, if you want to tune in live, not just listen on iTunes or SoundCloud, we're on TuneIn Radio. It's an app on your iPhone or Android device, and it's going to be WZBC or WVBC.
VBC.
Sorry about
VBC. It's blue, not black.
WVBC to listen in live. Also, check out our awesome website, firststopofficial.com. Right. Erik's got some awesome political posts, and then Minnow and I have some entertainment media posts.
Right. We also have merch. We don't make any money on the merch. It takes you directly to the website, but we love you to wear First Stop Nation gear.
That's right.
So that we can rep the brand, rep the nation, rep the movement. And also, we're on iTunes, as Jacob mentioned, so check us out there. We're on every platform, people. We have an Instagram, we have a SoundCloud, we have email. We may have fax. I'm not sure about that.
Moving up.
We're moving up in the world. We will see you at the next stop.